Imagine, friends, if you had the ability to stop time. How would you use that power? Something similar happens to the character of our story, Ban. At the beginning of the story, Ban and Suzy, a couple, are fighting. Their argument becomes so intense that Suzy decides to break up with Ban and leaves him. The next day, Ban goes to college and, to his surprise, sees Suzy with another guy. He feels hurt and confused, thinking to himself, just yesterday we were together making promises to always stay with each other. But now Suzy is with someone else. Ban is shocked and says, just yesterday she was kissing me, and today she's kissing someone else. Ban's friend, Sharon, notices that Ban is upset and suggests, you should start dating a beautiful girl. That way, whenever Suzy sees you with someone else, she will feel jealous. However, Ban replies, I'm not in the right state to be in a relationship with someone else. My heart is still with Suzy. After this, Ban goes to his art class where he spends his time drawing pictures of Suzy. He misses her deeply, and his mind is filled with thoughts of her. One night, unable to bear the sadness, Ban calls Suzy and asks, can we get back together? But Suzy turns him down, saying, I'm with someone else now. It's over. Ban is heartbroken. He becomes even more depressed and spends his days thinking about Suzy, wondering where things went wrong. His sadness starts affecting his sleep. No matter how hard he tries, he can't fall asleep. He feels restless all the time. To pass the time, Ban starts reading books late at night and watching TV, but none of it helps ease the pain in his heart. One night, Ban goes to a grocery store to clear his mind. While he's there, he notices a notice that says, staff required for the night shift. Since Ban couldn't sleep that night and was looking for something to do, he thinks that working there could be a good way to pass the time. Ban decides to apply for the job, so he goes for an interview with the store manager. The manager selects him for the job, and from the next night, Ban starts working at the store. At the store, Ban meets a girl named Sharon, who is also working the night shift. Over time, Ban notices something strange. Whenever Sharon comes in late, the manager calls her into his cabin and behaves inappropriately towards her. Ban feels uncomfortable seeing this happen. Ban then tells us that time seems to pass very slowly in the supermarket. To make the hours go by faster, the employees have come up with different ways to pass the time. Sharon, for example, puts tape on her watch so she can't see the time, making it feel like time is moving faster. Along with Sharon, there are two other employees working at the store, Matt and Barry. Both of them often do strange things in the store to entertain themselves and make the time go by. For Ban, passing time at the store becomes very difficult. He feels stuck in the slow-moving hours. One day, something unusual happens. Ban gains a superpower that allows him to freeze time. With this new power, he starts using it to freeze time whenever he wants. While the world is frozen, Ban begins drawing the clothes off the beautiful girls who come into the supermarket. Time moves quickly for him when he uses his power, and he feels like he's finally able to take control of the slow, boring hours at work. Ban tells us that he believes girls are the most beautiful creations in the world, so he loves drawing them. He spends his time sketching pictures of girls, and whenever he resumes normal time, a lot of hours have already passed. Because of this, Ban doesn't have to do much work at the store, which makes his shifts feel easier. A few days go by like this. One day, when Ban arrives at work, Sharon comes over to him. Ban takes out a sandwich from his locker to eat. Seeing the sandwich, Sharon mentions that she's very hungry and asks if she can have it. Ban gives it to her, and as he watches her, he begins to realize he has feelings for her. Later that day, Matt and Barry also come to the store. Matt casually tells Ban that he's taking Sharon out to watch a movie tonight and plans to get intimate with her. Hearing this, Ban feels deeply upset. He starts thinking about how every time he likes a girl, she always ends up leaving him. He remembers an experience from his past that still lingers in his mind. Back in school, Ban had a crush on a girl, but he never had the courage to confess his feelings. One day, the girl broke her arm and had to wear a plaster cast. After the cast was removed, Ban noticed that her arm had a lot of hair, which made the boys at school tease her constantly. Feeling bad for her, Ban decided to approach her. He told her that no matter how she looked, she was still beautiful to him, and asked her to be his girlfriend. Hearing this, the girl was overjoyed and agreed. The next day, she took Ban behind the school and tried to kiss him. But Ban became nervous, pulled away, and walked off, telling her to meet him at the same spot the next day. The following day, Ban went behind the school, excited and ready to finally kiss her. However, she never showed up. Later, Ban found out that the girl had left the school and permanently moved to Antarctica with her family. Hearing this news broke his heart. Leaving him disheartened, and questioning his luck with love. Later, the store manager gathers Ben and the other employees to share some news. He announces that there will be a football match tomorrow and asks everyone to participate. The next day, Ben and his team go to play the match, but none of them know how to play football properly, so their performance is terrible. Frustrated with how the game is going, Ben decides to use his superpower again. He freezes time and walks around the field, noticing that everyone is completely still. However, he spots one man who is still moving despite time being frozen. When Ben approaches him, the man quickly runs away. This shocks Ben, making him realize that he isn't the only one with this power. Others also possess it. Ben returns to the field and resumes time. As soon as time starts again, Matt kicks the football, and it accidentally hits the manager square in the face, causing his mouth to bleed. Seeing the manager hurt, the employees rush him to the hospital. On the way, the manager, in pain, tells Ben to drop Sharon home after everything is settled. After taking the manager to the hospital, Ben offers to drop Sharon off as instructed. But before heading to her house, he takes her to a cafe to talk. While they are at the cafe, Ben asks Sharon if there is anything going on between her and Matt. Sharon reassures him, saying that they are just good friends and there's nothing romantic between them. Curious about Ben, Sharon then asks if he has a girlfriend. Ben tells her that he had a girlfriend in the past, but they broke up some time ago. After their conversation, Ben drops Sharon home, feeling a mix of emotions but glad to have spent time with her. Ben drops Sharon off at her house. Before she goes inside, Sharon leans in and tries to kiss Ben. Feeling nervous, Ben hesitates and ends up giving her a quick kiss on the cheek instead. Sharon smiles warmly and heads inside, leaving Ben both flustered and happy. The next day, the store manager gathers all the male employees in his office. He tells them that his birthday is coming up in a few days, and that he will be throwing a party. The manager insists that everyone attend. He then hands Ben some money, and instructs him to hire a stripper for the party. Ben reluctantly agrees. Unsure of how to handle the situation, Ben goes to his friend for advice. He explains that the manager wants a stripper for his birthday party and asks for help. His friend takes him to a place where they meet a stripper. However, the stripper tells them that she is fully booked and cannot make it to the party. She assures them that her friend who is available will come to the party instead. Relieved, Ben agrees to the arrangement. The next day at work, Ben continues to struggle with his feelings for Sharon. He decides to freeze time once again. While everything around him is paused, Ben focuses solely on drawing Sharon's portrait, channeling his emotions into his art. After some time, Sharon approaches Ben at the store. She smiles and asks him, "Will you come with me to the manager's party?" Ben agrees to go with Sharon to the manager's party, and before leaving, Sharon gives him a quick kiss. After that moment, Ben starts sleeping well at night, something he hadn't been able to do in a long time. The next day, Ben gets a call from Matt and Barry. Pretending to be from an art gallery, they tell Ben that they love his drawings and want to meet him the next day. Ben is thrilled and feels hopeful about his art. Later, he picks up Sharon from her house, and they both head to the manager's party together. At the party, Ben unexpectedly runs into his ex-girlfriend, Suzy. Seeing Sharon looking stunning and happy with Ben makes Suzy feel jealous. A little later, a stripper arrives at the party. Sonu, one of the other employees, recognizes her as his childhood friend. He approaches her, asks her out on a date, and she agrees. However, when Sonu tries to take things further, she refuses and walks away. Meanwhile, the manager makes an inappropriate move towards Sharon, and she angrily storms out of the party, cursing him as she leaves. On the other side of the party, Ben goes to the washroom, where he runs into Suzy. Suzy admits that breaking up with him was a mistake and says she wants to get back together. She tries to kiss him, but Ben pushes her away, telling her that he is now in love with Sharon. Unbeknownst to Ben, Sharon sees him and Suzy together from a distance. Misunderstanding the situation, she thinks they are kissing and walks away, heartbroken. Ben notices Sharon leaving and panics. He freezes time, hoping to figure out a way to explain everything to her. However, even after 2 days of frozen time, Ben is still unsure of how to make things right with Sharon. Eventually, he unfreezes time, hoping for an opportunity to explain his feelings. After Sharon leaves in anger, Ben feels terrible about what happened. Hoping to fix things, he goes to her house to apologize. However, Sharon is still upset and starts yelling at him before slamming the door and kicking him out. This rejection leaves Ben heartbroken, and once again, he struggles with sleepless nights. A few days later, Ben decides to visit the art gallery he had heard about. He approaches the gallery manager and says, "I'm here because I was invited to show my paintings." The manager looks confused and responds, "I never invited you." It's then that Ben realizes Matt had been playing a prank on him by pretending to be someone from the gallery. Embarrassed, Ben apologizes to the manager and turns to leave. However, the manager stops him and says, "Before I die, I'd like to see your paintings." Intrigued, the manager takes a look at Ben's work and is impressed. "Your paintings are wonderful," he says. "Let's arrange an exhibition for them. Come meet me tomorrow with an appointment, and we'll plan it." Ben feels a glimmer of hope for his art and agrees. Over the next few days, Ben works hard to prepare for the exhibition. Finally, the big day arrives. Invitations are sent out, including one to Sharon. Ben's exhibition is a grand event, and the venue is filled with people admiring his work. Among the attendees is an American painter who approaches Ben with a warm smile. She praises his talent, saying, "Your paintings are incredible." Later during the exhibition, the American painter encourages Ben, saying, "You should consider doing a show in America. Your talent deserves to be seen by the world." Hearing this, Ben is reminded of how Sharon had always dreamed of traveling to America. Inspired, Ben agrees with the painter's suggestion to bring his art to America. Not long after, Sharon arrives at the exhibition. She's amazed and delighted to see Ben's paintings, especially the ones inspired by her. As she admires the artwork, Ben approaches her and says, "I'm sorry for everything, Sharon." Sharon smiles softly and forgives him. Ben then looks at her and asks, "Do you trust me?" Sharon replies, "Yes, I trust you." Ben asks her to close her eyes. When she does, he gently kisses her. In that moment, he freezes time. Sharon, astonished by what she witnesses, is overwhelmed with surprise and amazement at his ability. After unfreezing time, the two step outside, sharing a heartfelt connection. They embrace and kiss each other, their feelings finally aligning. And with that, their story comes to a beautiful and satisfying conclusion.